Paving this shit crank.
Hey you guys, how you doing today? As many of you probably know, and some of you probably don't know, but we have a situation here in California where there are two children, the ages of 3 and 4 years old, that is missing, and they were taken from their mom due to her allegedly having a medical marijuana card. And so I guess they found out that, I guess they charged her with a drug charge. But in my understanding is if a doctor gives you a medical marijuana card and you're prescribed that medication for whatever reason they put down, I know that some people can get illegal ones, but if your doctor prescribes it for you and your doctor know you, then there shouldn't be any problem. So making a long story short, these kids still to this day have not been found. And I want to talk about the corruption that is called medical kidnap, because a lot of times it goes with the foster care system as well. So I want to read, it says Parents Against CPS, Corruption Fights Medical Kidnap. So this story is by a lady named Michelle Chan. So I have a few of those stories that I'm going to be bringing to you because it ties into the situation that we're facing here in California right now. It's not going to be a very long story, but this is an excerpt. It says 8 years ago, a lady named Melinda Garrett was induced into labor a month and a half before her due date. So that means she might have been having some kind of problems going on within her body. Okay, so to Melinda, the baby represented a new beginning, a way to right all the wrongs and the trauma and the abuse she herself had to endure as a survivor of childhood sexual and physical abuse. Okay, sex trafficking and a previously stillborn birth, which is this girl had a rough time. She swore to break the cycle of abuse and to give everything she never had as a child to her newborn baby. And a lot of people feel that way as well. So, let's see. She was never given that chance. I wonder why. We're going to read further. And remember, I said this is a short story. Shortly after Melinda finished successfully breastfeeding the baby for the very first time, CPS removed the newborn from her custody. She never left the hospital with her baby, you guys. And we're going to keep on reading. Oh, there's a full article. Okay. So, shortly, I read that part. The charges were domestic violence, medical marijuana use, and allegedly low birth weight. Except Melinda had a note from her obstetrician recommending the use of medical marijuana due to the low appetite, and the labor was induced early, which contributed to the low birth weight. You see this mess? This lady had a medical doctor giving it to her, the marijuana, so that it can induce her eating habits. And then because of whatever was going on in her body, she could no longer hold on to the baby, so they had to induce her labor so that she could give birth to this child, which ended up being under the birth weight. They used that as a mechanism to steal this lady's baby. Although Melinda had been the victim of domestic violence by the father, there had not yet been any incidents in which the baby was exposed to the domestic violence. This is the thing that I'm talking about. They come in and they take your kids and they make their own assumptions, because right now there's a high demand for babies and people to adopt babies, and so they take the babies from the parents unjustly, and then they end up hiding and keeping the child from their mother, sending them through all kinds of hoops and loops, and then by the time the parent gets themselves together, the adoptive parent have already adopted that child out. And if the parent doesn't have the money to fight the legal case against this wrongdoing, or if they can find somebody to help them pro bono, which is likely hardly ever, then the parent ends up losing their child to somebody else's greed, because it's a lot of money in in foster care, and taking children and placing them elsewhere. They get paid pretty well. So now it's like you got to be careful, giving birth to your own child, because somebody that may have some kind of connection that needs a baby will come after you as you're giving birth to your child. So I'm gonna look for the San Francisco Bay View and come back with more commentary on this story. It's going to be a part 2. I just wanted to bring this to you because this seems to have happened to this lady and her 2 children that were adopted out into this family in California City, California, and now the 2 children are missing. And you got people speculating what happened to these kids. We won't know until everything comes to full circle, but my prayer goes up and I hope that those 2 babies are alive. But if you want to keep track of everything that's going on, his name is A.V. Watchman, United We Stand. He's been on top of this case. And then there's been a private investigator, I believe his name is Rick Garcia. There are a few people that's been on top of this case. I'm not in it for the views. I'm not in it for anything. I'm just like trying to get this word out to people to be careful, because they are medically kidnapping people's babies. So until next time, you guys, be safe, take care of yourself, and I will be coming back with a part 2 in this story. Thank you.